Hello and welcome to the Affordable Housing Club. These meetings will be recorded on Zoom and then posted both on YouTube with links from the Patreon page. As some of you may know, I've been working on a book that has really become an e-manual so that it can be updated. And I'm in the process of editing that, but I'm going to start with one chapter at a time. So today we're going to look at chapter 1. I'm going to bring up my presentation. I've given the name to this manual of Housing That Works. And the reason for that is it's affordable housing that works through different ways of thinking outside the box, such as using live-work cooperatives. This chapter 1 is an overview of everything that is in the book. So the table of contents, we'll just go through those quickly. There's the overview, then business plan, discussion of this club and how it works, some topics on situations that can occur with people looking for affordable housing. We look at accessory dwelling units, small modular homes. What can millennials and Gen Z people do? Housing in rural areas, specific details on Burlington, Ontario, where I live. Looking at strategies for seniors and for rental housing, different policies and procedures for shared living, contacts you may wish to pursue, a list of videos and websites. Then there are appendices covering a lot more detail of work I've been doing over the last 10 years that includes electrification of housing, emergency power provision, and several other different topics. So, chapter 1. This is going to cover a service to help people find affordable housing. It's a consulting service with a low-cost barrier to entry that puts you in touch with experts in various fields to ensure your dream comes true. Individuals of all ages and income levels are welcome. We can help groups take on larger projects. They're always open to suggestions and new ideas. Our team has years of extensive experience in dealing with housing of all sorts, as well as associated businesses to help generate income to finance the housing. As you may know, the days of baby boomers buying properties are gone. There are, however, unique and innovative ways to satisfy the needs of both purchasers and renters. It is complicated, but it is doable. The upfront costs are low in this club, and we charge a nominal fee that gives options to suit the client's particular situation. It's kind of a roadmap that we give. Then we walk them through all their decisions. We look at costs and inform them before they do anything. Our team of experienced experts and our complement staff are here to help every step of the way. Options range from the most basic of finding a place to rent to a full examination of personal hopes and dreams and where housing fits into them. The basic premise is that one can combine housing, employment, business, and investing in an overall plan that makes everything affordable. The business is a federal not-for-profit with a board of directors that are not paid but can take on paid roles such as that of an executive director. Working from home provides low overhead, especially during startup. We think this is a disruptive approach to housing and would like to see it go to a community-wide level where others share new and exciting ideas for the benefit of all. Thinking outside the box starts with a broad-based overview of all possibilities ranging from living in the parents' basement to moving across the country or around the globe to find the best fit for their ultimate desires and passion. We see this as part of one's holistic approach to life. It is only one piece of an overall life plan. As you may know, in the past, people got good jobs, lived at home until they got married, rented an apartment, and started saving. In about 5 years, they had enough for a down payment, and their salary had doubled to enable them to afford the mortgage. Today, however, trying to save money while living at home will not generate enough cash for a down payment, and then the mortgage payments are only affordable with two or more people working with high-paying jobs. The key is to leverage real estate. It is also important to not fight the system by complaining about the lack of affordable housing and asking for handouts. People need two things: housing and jobs. These are interrelated, and housing can be rented or owned. Also, certain jobs require office space, land, and buildings to function. These can also be rented or owned, and at any time, people are doing each of these, and those involved change over time. So let's start with the first option, referred to as additional residential units, other terminology such as accessory dwelling units, backyard units, garden homes, laneway homes. What we're looking at in this case is something that's built as a detached building in the rear of a single family lot in residential areas. Here's an idea of where you have an existing home and then a backyard unit. You need things like access, a walkway, and parking, and it depends on the municipality. Everyone is a little different. So the profile here is for single family homeowners. So what they can do is build a small above grade housing unit that is either rented or rented with the option to buy. These units are available in several styles and sizes. Construction can be done in several ways depending on the site conditions, using modular or factory-built units, stick-built, even foldable, or a combination approach. Complete units can also be delivered on a truck from a factory and lifted in place by a crane, or panels can be delivered and carried into the rear yard and then assembled. There are companies available to help with the initial design, permits, construction, inspections, financing, and property management to suit the buyer. And we work to help our clients with all of these. So what is involved in the cost from both the owner and the renter? The average cost to build these backyard units can range from as low as $160,000 to over $300,000. But remember, the land is free, which helps it keep the cost down. Now, this typically includes all the overhead, such as getting approvals and permits, inspections, and whatever is needed to get the structure built. We look at what rent has to be paid to break even. If somebody does this, they want to know what rent can they charge so that they will not have to lose money on the proposition. So typically the rents can range from $1,000 to over $3,000 a month. If people want to assist the needy, they could reduce the rent to accommodate the people in terms of a charitable approach. We also look at a rent with option to buy when someone starts off renting with an agreement that some of the rent can go towards paying off the capital costs through a mortgage or other means. Next is a live-work condo. These occur in the Toronto area, and they are suitable for self-employed who are at home, either singles or couples. So these condos can be either purchased or rented with the option to buy. These units are available in several forms, such as artist studios that cater to painters, sculptors, and crafters. Other ones have workshops available where somebody can build, say, kitchen cabinets or furniture, and they can rent these workshops that are on the site. So typically, it's a condominium development with more low-rise multifamily dwellings. Musicians can also find spaces that are acoustically isolated to minimize sound transfer. Here's a picture of one in Western Toronto area. So compared to the ARUs, the average cost, this is typical condominium approach where units run from 700,000 to over $1 million, plus condo fees. If you look at the formula for affordable housing, the gross income needed at 1/3 of the purchase price, less a down payment, is roughly $200,000 a year to over $300,000. That's on a monthly basis. The way you save in these situations is that you are working from home, so you're saving on travel, clothing, food, and other things associated with having to work outside the home. A twist on this is to have a live-work cooperative, so it is shared accommodation and also sharing its food, transportation, and work. There are various ways to do this, but it can provide affordable housing in a location that employs people with access to low-cost food, transportation, and recreation as members of a cooperative. The property contains a building with a commercial floor and 2 stories above for residential use. As an example, parking space for, say, a car share vehicle, possibly electric, hybrid, and a recreational backyard. Financially, the co-op is designed to be self-sustaining with income from store sales, vehicle rentals, and member contributions covering operating costs. The initial capital costs are covered by member shares, ensuring the long-term sustainability. The value of the shares are not tied to the real estate market, and members can live there forever or sell their share at any time. And it results in non-market rent being about half of market rent. Here are some sketches of how these might look. On the left, you can have a ground floor with shared accommodation. And outside, you can have shared vehicle and garden beds, bike storage. And on the right, we see kind of a 3D cutaway of how this might be set up. Option 4 is to rent your own accommodation and at the same time purchase small property. So this would apply to office workers in a major city where cost of housing is high. So you rent, and then with the extra money you have, you buy something such as a cottage and rent it out as a business, or you could just use it for personal use and let it appreciate. So this allows people to get into the market, and over time, the equity builds up and can be put towards their own home. You could also consider buying a piece of farmland and renting it to a local farmer to grow hay or whatever the local economy dictates. Number 5 is to buy and live in an income property if you're in a smaller town where prices are generally less expensive. You can get a house with a, say, basement apartment or some kind of rental unit and put that rent money towards paying off the mortgage. Number 6 is to purchase an income property with school friends and renovate it and rent it to students. So this could be for some people who got together during university or college and kind of similar interests and complementary skills. So they can reduce capital costs by buying and renovating. In this case, say 4 people, they could provide their expertise to work towards the final solution. And they would start with thinking outside the box by buying a property, a house that is, say, baseboard heated, where people are concerned about the cost of electricity, and these houses are usually sold at lesser amounts than gas heated or other heated homes. And it could be a townhouse, semi or detached. And then you could convert the heating and cooling system to a heat pump, which will be less expensive in operating costs. Again, you divide up the talents amongst the members, and you look at real estate, financing, electrical, and HVAC, which are the most important for buying and improving your property. So these skills can be learned even if you're still in school and studying. You could even get some assistance from instructors or professors to, and even employers to assist in the project. Number 7, buy a portion of a house owned by a senior. So this could occur when there's this individual or a couple who have a senior contact, could be a relative, a friend, a number of situations. So the younger people live in a separate part of the house while providing social interaction with the elder resident. This requires a proper assessment of personalities and lifestyle to ensure the match is compatible. The property is put in joint tenancy with the option for the younger purchase to buy from the elder upon death. Number 8, rent with option to buy. This could be a number of ways, but could occur with when somebody passes and the home is in the hands of the estate. We have a problem in Southern Ontario specifically where the Ontario probate law has resulted in long delays in processing of estates, and people can have properties sitting vacant for months. So rather than let the property be left vacant, it can be rented out with the option to buy. Of course, it needs a proper legal arrangement with a lease and contract, and with low rent, which will keep the beneficiaries happy. Option 9 is the affordable housing list. Pretty well all municipalities in Ontario and the rest of Canada have housing units that are available that are geared to income. So for people who can't afford conventional housing, they can apply to be on these lists. So the important thing is to sign up for these well in advance of the need, because in certain areas, such as the City of Toronto, there's a 23-year waiting list, where some counties like Grey County has a 3-year list. This may require you to move if necessary. There are also variations of this called supportive housing, where municipalities will partner with market landlords, and the tenant will pay what they can afford, and the municipality will top it up to market rent for the landlord. Tiny home communities. This is something that a group of people might be interested in doing. It's on a larger scale. People are typically converting land zoned for recreational units where you have common services, and then you can rent the land but provide your own unit on the property, forms of a four-season small home, tiny home. Now you have to do your homework to find the property that is zoned for this, and it can be a variety of structures that could be used, as mentioned earlier, for accessory residential units. Typically, these are all on grade without basements. You can also look at combining small houses with arable land to grow food that could be attractive to progressive municipalities. Religious properties. For people in groups that are interested in transitional housing, helping others, religious properties are zoned typically as employment lands in most municipalities, and they do not permit permanent housing, but they do allow temporary and transitional housing, which could be for workers, could be for conferences, training programs, and also those who are going through transition from being unhoused to getting back into productive life. And these properties and faith-based groups can partner with different social groups. Accessory dwelling units, again, this term is a little confusing, but in this option, we're looking at where we have multi-generational families and we're looking at family succession. So again, in most municipalities now, there can be separate accommodations for different people in the family unit, and they can be self-contained units, which could be a basement apartment, an attic apartment, an addition to the house, and up to 2 additional detached units. And in Burlington and some other municipalities, they are a little more restrictive. Burlington currently only allows 2 of these options in addition to the main house. Well, thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos and information, you can follow these links. Bye for now. And we'll see you on Saturday.